You won't believe what's next. A guy turns his head, takes the photo, glances, and quickly returns it to Jack. Subtitles, then, Peter said as the two were leaving the house. Jack decided to rush to the precinct for an arrest warrant, while the coroner took the body back to the lab for further examination. However, the coroner found a chunk of dirt in the woman's throat, and through testing, everyone rushed to the burial site only to be shocked to discover. Next to the burial site, dozens of bodies were unearthed, and Will, standing nearby, believed that since Peter knew the identity of the deceased, he must know who the killer is, so Will and Hannibal headed back to Peter's house, only to find it in absolute chaos. Cautious Will sensed Peter's accident, scene shifts to Peter at Machu Picchu. He saw a black horse lying in a pool of blood, and Peter sadly knelt down to stroke the horse when suddenly, a strange man appeared out of nowhere. The subtitles read, "This man, knowing that Peter had suffered a head injury, began to constantly mess with his hair and tease him. Peter's mind obviously started to become hazy. However, right at that moment, Will and Hannibal also arrived at Machu Picchu, just in time to see Peter stitching up the horse's belly and immediately guessed what was brewing inside. To spare Peter any further mental trauma, Will quickly took him away from the scene, while Hannibal strolled off to the side. Patiently, Will brought Peter to another room and asked him why he did that. Peter told Will he didn't kill the man. He just wanted the guy to feel what it's like to choke a little, and at that moment, a finger slowly poked out of the stitched-up horse belly. Suddenly, two hands emerged, tearing the stitches open, and in a flash, a man crawled out of the horses. He gasped for air, completely unaware that Hannibal was right behind him, then picked up a hammer and tried to make a getaway. Hannibal told him to tell truth and return, or face a bad end. Then Will drew his gun. Back inside the horse's belly, the man immediately knelt and surrendered, but the all-knowing Will had no plans to let him off easy. Eggs crack into the skillet, liver gets sliced and tossed in, topped with some green onion, and just like that, Uncle's dinner is finally ready. Cue the scene shift to a gas station, where a guy returns to his driver's seat with coffee and starts the engine. Just then, a shadow suddenly climbs onto the truck. The driver hears the noise and jumps out to investigate. After finding nothing, he gets ready to return to his car, but just as he opens the door, something yanks him up onto the roof. As the truck shakes, blood pours down the window, and by the next morning, the police find the driver's body on the roof. At this time, the driver is torn apart by the monster, limbs scattered. The coroner examines and finds the man's body covered in animal bites, but his organs intact without any signs of munching, leading Jack to deduce someone may have sent trained bears or wolves to attack the driver. Will tells Jack wolves and monkeys are always taken away wherever they are. In the warehouse, a person is frantically assembling teeth at a workstation, surrounded by a mess of tools. Then he connects the tubes, opens a valve, and inserts a stick into the machine. With a snap, it breaks into two. He returns to his workstation and carefully cleans up the blood. At night on a riverbank, a couple is strolling, clueless that they are about to become someone else's dinner. Suddenly, the monster lurking in the woods attacks, knocking the man down before tearing him to shreds, while his girlfriend. Panic-stricken, the girlfriend runs, but falls shortly after. When she gets up and looks back, the monster is right there in front of her. The next day, the police arrive on scene, finding it identical to yesterday's horror. Will gazes at the crime scene, slowly shuts his eyes, and with a flash of light, he returns to just moments before the incident. He stands in the woods, seeing the couple not far ahead, and orders them to be taken out only for a black figure to bolt out of the brush. Charges, sending both flying, then massacres. After the flashback, Will tells Jack, "Their previous assumptions were all wrong. This is a person who wants to become an animal. He's an engineer." I understand engineers. In the warehouse, a man is gearing up to hunt his next prey. This is the weirdest death I've ever witnessed. The killer stitched the guy's body with a skeleton and put it on display in a museum. Staring into the dead man's unblinking eyes, Will slowly closed his own. When he reopened them, it's quite a surprise that his first words were, "Hello again," revealing this wasn't their first encounter. The man was named Rand, working at a museum where he restored animal exhibits. Each evening, had returned to the warehouse, donning his gear. He would then head outdoors to commence his hunting. Will reconstructed the killer's modus operandi and briefed Jack on the basic situation. Back at the lab, a clueless Jack asked Hannibal if he had ever encountered similar cases, to which Hannibal replied, "A long time ago, he encountered a cognitively challenged boy who often fancied himself a beast. Thinking back, he might be an adult. Scene shifts. A boy is assembling fossils, noticing Hannibal's sudden entrance, scanning the surroundings nervously. Hannibal suddenly chimed in, Rand still trying to play innocent. But as his psychiatrist, Hannibal understood the beast within Rand had awakened. Now is his strongest moment, so he cautioned Rand. Soon, police will find you via clues. Don't want caught. Follow me. Sure enough, not long after, Jack and Will found Rand. During Jack's questioning, Rand kept Hannibal's words in mind. He expertly handled Jack's inquiries, but Will, observing from the sidelines, believed this was just Rand masking his true feelings. At this point, Rand sensed Will's suspicion, so to eliminate doubt, he decided it was time to cover his tracks. It's time for pranks. Don't forget to subscribe for more surprises and info.